Once upon a time, in a cozy little town nestled between rolling hills and whispering woods, there lived a small stuffed rabbit named Whiskers. Whiskers belonged to a cheerful little girl named Emily. Emily and Whiskers were inseparable. They played in the garden, had tea parties with imaginary friends, and snuggled together every night. One sunny afternoon, Emily decided to take Whiskers on a grand adventure to the nearby forest. They skipped along the winding trails, laughing as they chased butterflies and listened to the birds sing. But as the sun began to set, they realized they had wandered farther than they had ever been before. Emily, realizing it was getting late, hurried back home with Whiskers tucked under her arm. But somewhere along the way, disaster struck. In her haste, Whiskers slipped from Emily's grasp and vanished into the deepening shadows of the forest. Emily searched frantically, calling out for her beloved toy, but Whiskers was nowhere to be found. As night fell, Emily returned home with tears streaming down her cheeks. She couldn't sleep that night, worrying about Whiskers alone in the dark forest. Meanwhile, Whiskers, frightened and disoriented, stumbled through the underbrush. The forest was vast and unfamiliar, and Whiskers had never been on an adventure alone before. Days turned into nights, and Whiskers struggled to survive in the wild. He dodged hungry predators and weathered harsh storms, all the while yearning to be back in Emily's warm embrace. His fur became matted, and his once bright-button eyes grew dull with despair. Back in the town, Emily was heartbroken. She put up posters and searched every corner, hoping against hope that Whiskers would find his way back to her. Her parents tried to console her, but Emily refused to give up. One cloudy morning, a kind-hearted old man who lived on the outskirts of the forest stumbled upon Whiskers. The old man, moved by the sight of the bedraggled rabbit, took him home and carefully cleaned him up. He noticed the tag with Emily's address still attached to Whiskers' ear and set out to reunite them. Emily couldn't believe her eyes when she opened the door to find the old man holding Whiskers in his arms. She burst into tears of joy and hugged Whiskers tightly. Whiskers, though weary and worn, snuggled into Emily's arms, relieved beyond measure to be safe and loved once more. From that day on, Emily never took Whiskers on another adventure without a firm grip on his paw. And Whiskers, though he sometimes remembered the scary days in the forest, knew deep in his plush heart that he would always be home with Emily, where he truly belonged.